Well, if you can remember back in 2021, Alec Baldwin was filming the movie Rust when he accidentally shot and killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins on set, when a live round somehow found its way into the prop gun that he was holding. Live ammo is not allowed on movie sets for obvious reasons. Now, years later, Baldwin has been charged with involuntary manslaughter, to which he has pleaded not guilty, signaling he's fighting for his innocence to the very end. This is not the only thing that Baldwin has to worry about. Lawsuits are beginning to roll in from other workers on the Rust movie set. Ross Adigo, Doran Curtin, and Reese Price are all New Mexico residents who were hired to work on Baldwin's Western-style movie, Law and Crime Network reports. All three were present when cinematographer Helena Hutchins was killed. They say that they have suffered significant trauma and damages as a result. So it doesn't come as a surprise that those three crew members have sued Baldwin and the producers on Friday. In their complaint detailing what happened, the crew members mentioned that Baldwin hadn't been present when cinematographer Helena Hutchins was killed. They say that they have suffered significant trauma and damages as a result. So it doesn't come as a surprise that those three crew members have sued Baldwin and the producers on Friday. In their complaint detailing what happened, the crew members mentioned that Baldwin hadn't participated in crucial safety training. So do they have a case here? To answer that question, we've invited host of the Nothing But Truth podcast and criminal defense attorney Bob Bianchi back onto the show. Bob, always great to see you, as always. What are we looking at here with this lawsuit from these three crew members?
So this is much different than the criminal case, where there's a higher standard, there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and the conduct in a criminal case has to rise to a much greater level of negligence or recklessness. In a civil case, the standard is a preponderance of the evidence, which is less than beyond a reasonable doubt. It's more likely than not that Alec Baldwin and the other people that are sued created a dangerous condition, and the causation of that or the result of that dangerous condition led to the intentional infliction of emotional distress. That's one of the claims in the case, as well as negligence with regard to these individuals who claim that they were affected both physically and emotionally. So he suffers, Baldwin, and the people that are sued here. It's much easier to prove that case. And I think that's one of the situations in which ultimately they're going to sit down at the table and they're probably going to settle this. I can't see this going to trial. I'll just say last note, as a former prosecutor, now as a criminal defense lawyer, the last thing I want when I'm representing somebody is a companion civil case, because in the civil case, whereas in the criminal case, we have a right to remain silent. In the civil case, they can force you to come in depositions. They can have you answer under oath interrogatories. And as a criminal defense lawyer, I don't want my client saying anything. So the lawyers for Baldwin obviously are not going to be happy about this.
Do we know, is there a dollar amount that these crew members are seeking in financial damages? Is that laid out in this?
In some states, like in my state, you used to have to do that. So you put something crazy in there like $50 million, and you know you're not going to get anywhere near that. But there's going to be a lot of incentivizing here for the insurance companies and all the people and all the players to sit down and resolve this case and settle it, probably for millions.
Now, Bob, I want to switch gears and also get to this. This is big in the news. I imagine it's going to be in the days and weeks to come. This is also from Law and Crime. Justices focus on two ways to duck deciding the legality of Biden's student loan forgiveness plan during oral arguments in major cases. Yesterday was the oral arguments for Biden v. Nebraska, the student loan debt situation. What are these arguments that the justices are trying to duck? What are the arguments that they're making here?
Well, we always have this issue, right? This tension in our Constitution between the three branches of government. In this particular case, we're talking about Congress and their right to legislate versus the executive branch, which is taking unilateral action in some instances. You hear this debate all the time. This is something that Congress should pass and that the executive branch should not be acting upon. So this tension is always existing politically and in our Constitution. And essentially what the justices did here was kind of interesting, because across the ideological spectrum, they started honing in on very technical issues here, not substantive issues. And what they were saying is, Well, for example, do you have standing? Standing is a legal concept that says you can't bring an action in court unless you're the person who is affected by the action of a governmental agency in this particular case. And they made a point on both sides of saying that the MOLIA, it's called, that's the agency that actually gives out the loan money in the state. They're saying, well, how come they didn't sue? They're directly affected by this. The individuals who brought this lawsuit are not affected by this. So do you even have the right to even be before a court in the first place? Addison, what this usually means when you hear a lot of this going on, especially on both sides of the ideological spectrum, is it may be an issue they don't want to touch. So they kind of throw it out on procedural grounds. Well, you didn't have the right to be here. Go back and either do it over with somebody else that has standing or not. Now, they did get into some substantive issues here. And really what it's going to come down to is whether or not this agency had the authority, whether or not the executive branch had the authority to take this significant unilateral action that can affect the macro economic situation, in which case the Supreme Court can come in and they can say, you know what, no, the agency can do some things unilaterally for purposes of the pandemic and COVID-19, but they've also struck some things down saying the executive branch exceeded its authority and overstepped Congress. We'll have to wait to see whether they get to the substance or whether they're going to toss it out on a procedural issue.
Yeah, well, we will certainly be tracking that story, Bob, and have to have you back on when we have more on that. Bob Bianchi, great to have you on the program as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Addison.